Well, Christmas is over, but the holiday season continues. We have one more on the list, and we're going to try to help you out if you have some travel plans for the next few days. Our business travel forecast, however, I'm sure for most folks it's going to be holiday travel plans. And the good news is high pressure controls most of the country. We have a little bit of snow to the north, a little rain and snow through Washington and Oregon, and some scattered showers down south, but really nothing heavy. I think the big story this week is going to be the cold air, and it's definitely chilly, and the heart of the cold air is working on eastward. So maybe not too bad in the northeast for the time being, but much colder by tomorrow, and the winds will die down, so I guess that's part of the good news. We will still pick up some lake effect snows through this afternoon, through northeastern Ohio, Pennsylvania, into New York, especially Geauga and Ashtabula counties in Ohio this afternoon. Light snow through Minnesota and North Dakota, and the system coming in here is not likely to bring anything too heavy, so a few inches of snow perhaps in the mountains, 3-4 inches, and the heaviest rain will be right along the coast. It's raining from Quileute down to Astoria and Oregon. Down to the south, we've had some rain this morning around Atlanta and areas on south of there, but as high pressure builds in here, it looks like it's going to be squeezed a little bit further to the south. However, by tomorrow it may come northward once again, and with this cold air in place, as I mentioned, here in the northeast, the northern extent of the rain may mix in with enough cold air that we get a little bit of freezing rain at least the first part of the day here on Sunday, northeastern Georgia, and then maybe into South Carolina, even up around Asheville, North Carolina. Could be some problems on the roadways. A lot of folks hitting the road, heading home after a Christmas out of town, so it looks like it could be kind of rough there. We'll have to keep an eye on this area. Again, the snow that we have on the map is generally going to be pretty light, and the big story is most likely the cold air. It's still going to stay below zero probably all day long here up around International Falls. They'll be lucky to hit the 20-degree mark in Detroit. Pittsburgh, not much better, maybe low 20s there, and in the northeast, teens and 20s expected. But take a look at the mild air. Not too bad here, 40s and some 50s in the plains. Through the Rockies, a lot of skiers out this time of year, and it doesn't look too bad. Of course, over kind of brutal out there. We're looking at single digits, much below zero along the U.S.-Canadian border and in through New England. Sunday, probably the coldest day. Look at afternoon highs. Single digits, teens, and some 20s after a real cold start to the day, and that cold air all the way down into North Georgia. Remember, with temperatures right around the freezing point, we could see some freezing rain in through here. Monday, a little bit of a warm-up. We keep the cold air right up along the U.S.-Canadian border. That Arctic boundary comes southward, but doesn't look like it's going to make it all the way down to the Gulf Coast like the last one. Okay, here's what we're looking at. The light rain continues, maybe a little bit of freezing rain. Next storm system comes into the west. Looks like this one could bring in some significant snows through the Rockies, also the Cascades, and the Bitterroots through Tuesday. Rain continues, maybe a little bit of freezing rain. Next storm system comes into the west. Looks like this one could bring in some significant snows through the Rockies, also the Cascades, and the Bitterroots through Tuesday.
Not far from Seattle's famed Mount Rainier is another place with a towering reputation.
Into Michigan, that could become a problem. Heavier snow also possible in northeastern parts of Ohio, western Pennsylvania, and New York. So travelers could run into some problems. We're not looking for heavy snow throughout the region, but in the usual spots, the snow belt areas could be a little snowy today. By tomorrow, though, looks pretty good if you look at this. High pressure control, we will have sunshine, but it is going to be very chilly out there. And it looks pretty quiet weather-wise after this. Temperatures this afternoon in the 20s in interior regions, mid-30s, so temperatures not really warming up too much throughout. When you look back at Christmas, most of the country had below normal temperatures by 10 to 15 degrees. The only warm spots were really right along the Gulf Coast and in Florida. The warmest Christmas temperature was 82 degrees. That was recorded in Miami and Sarasota, as well as Hollywood and Florida. A nice place to spend the holiday. Along with some of the cold air, we also got a little bit of snow in there in Kentucky and Tennessee. Nothing too heavy, just a little bit to make a nice Christmas picture. Paducah, Kentucky, with 3 inches on the ground now. Lexington, Kentucky, 2 inches, and down to Evansville, Indiana, as well as Covington, Kentucky, right there on the border of Ohio. Just about 1 inch of snow recorded in the past 24 hours. A look at the current map shows us generally high pressure and control through most of the country, so it is going to be fairly quiet today. Some good news. A lot of folks will be on the roadways, either headed back to the malls or headed home after a Christmas out of town. We will still pick up some snow through Michigan. The heaviest, however, was yesterday when they got over 1.5 feet snow in some locations. High pressure settling in over Kentucky, so remember I mentioned a little bit of snow, some wet roadways, and very cold temperatures now that skies have cleared and winds have died down, and they are reporting some icy spots on the roadways there. Taking you northward, though, the snow, as I mentioned, will continue light, however, in Michigan. Could be some accumulating snow snows as much as another 4, 5, 6 inches around Ashtabula and Geauga County in Ohio, also the snow belts in Pennsylvania, as well as New York. Northern New England looks like a few flurries and blustery conditions here, so kind of chilly when you factor in the winds. Taking you southward, the rain will continue. It looks like our front is settling further and further to the south. However, we have moisture riding up and over this air mass, so a steady light rain looks like it'll be in the forecast not only today but tomorrow, and even some lingering showers on into Monday, after which we should get back into some sunshine here. So a couple of days of rain here and there, nothing too heavy. The snow over the Great Lakes, again, ending today. High pressure and control here, and this is definitely where the heart of the cold air is, well below zero, and many locations you factor in the winds, which are fairly light, but still it can be as cold as 35 to 40 degrees below zero, especially in northern Minnesota. Kind of a brutal day there. Taking you westward, sunshine through the Rockies. A lot of folks out on the ski slopes for the holiday weekend. Looks like you're in pretty good shape. To the north, they're picking up. You're in pretty good shape. To the north, they're picking up a little bit more snow for the slopes here, and a little bit of rain from Seattle down to Astoria and Baker, Oregon. They are reporting light snow, and around Spokane, a little bit of snow earlier this morning. Now just overcast skies, and it is 32 degrees. Take a look at these temperatures, though. The heart of the cold air definitely right through here. It's 15 in Des Moines, only 9 degrees in Chicago. It's going to be pretty cold in Chicago in a couple of days if you're headed that way. 28 below International Falls, and in the northeast it may not look too bad at the moment. Temperatures are in the mid-30s, and for an early morning in late December, that's not too bad, but you factor in the winds, and it feels like it's in the teens for Boston and New York, both 16 degrees with the wind chill. 21 below in Buffalo, 4 below in Detroit, and the real cold spot, of course, is International Falls. Ice box of the nation, 32 degrees below zero with the wind chill factor. And we'll see that cold air continue as we check our forecast for the next several days. It really is going to stay right up along the U.S.-Canadian border, as the Arctic front is really right here, and it's just going to slip south, so that will keep them very cold. The good news, however, is that that cold air is not going to slide all the way down into the Dixie states, so they get to enjoy a little bit of mild air. However, it is going to be raining there today through most of the day, and it looks like maybe even tomorrow as well. High pressure building southward will push the rain a little bit further south than where it is this morning. Atlanta and Birmingham should clear out and see some sunshine. Very windy through the northeast for the rest of this afternoon, and that will keep the lake effect snows going, at least for the time being. As this system travels on eastward, it again will allow that cold air to come in right about through here, but the snow that we're getting out of this system shouldn't be too heavy, and really the rain's about 1/10 of an inch here and there, so if you're traveling, maybe just kind of a nuisance, a little bit of slick roadways here and there. In the northwest, a little bit heavier rain, perhaps right along the shoreline, places like Cooley down to Astoria could see as much as a half.
Now, your local forecast, accurate and dependable from the Weather Channel.
Well, if you're going to be out and about this afternoon, it's going to be kind of windy. Temperature's not too bad, but getting worse by tomorrow. We definitely have some cold air to tell you about in the forecast. Our normal high this time of year is perhaps along Long Island and along the Jersey Shore, but even those should be clearing out. And we are looking for sunshine through the afternoon, but at the moment it's 28, Newburgh, kind of chilly out there, 30 in White Plains, still 35 in New Haven, one of the warmer spots. JFK and Newark both reporting 34 degrees at this hour. Take a look at the satellite picture and roll this into motion, and we'll show you where the clouds are. Along our frontal system, they're clearing out pretty quickly, however, and it looks like we'll have full sunshine, but still very breezy conditions. Winds coming out of the west and northwest for the most part throughout the day, and that will start to make for some lake effect snows, and we already have some lake effect snows accumulating around Erie, Pennsylvania, towards Jamestown. Looks like Buffalo, Rochester, and Syracuse could see some snow. So if you're traveling westward today, heading home from the holiday weekend, you could run into some snow. Probably nothing too heavy, but a little bit of light snow on the roadways, and that could cause some problems. Let's go ahead and go back to the surface map. We'll show you what's going on here, and here we go. You can see that our storm system has moved up into Canada, and that's where the heavier snow will be. But yesterday, the heaviest snow was definitely in Michigan. They got over a foot in some locations. Still very windy, so